and work together. Because so often it's like, oh, we love Gyan, but then we don't put it into practice. Or we run for service, but we forget why are we doing service. And that's why we become often task-oriented. On the field of service, we become task-oriented. Okay, let's get this done. And then we are not paying attention to who we are hurting, whether it's stressful for others or even stressful for yourself. And just one of the murlis recently that we had, I think it was the murli of the 16th, where Baba was talking about there should not be any conflict, and there should not be any stress, any challenges. And there was discussion happening on that. So what did Baba actually mean by that? So one of the things was becoming clear that it's not that we'll not have challenges. Just even now, we don't know, excuse me, what's going to happen in terms of the pandemic that we just seen gone, and it's likely to come again or not come. Is it going to be serious or not serious? So challenges like that we don't have any control over, and there may be other forms of it that will come to us. But I guess what Baba was indicating was to what extent are we able to synchronize our sanskars? Because we're all preparing to go to Golden Age. And in Golden Age, one of the things that is remembered that Krishna used to do this, dance called Ras. And he was dancing with all the gopis. And each of the gopi felt that Krishna was with her or him. So actually, what does it represent? Is that there's so much harmony in our nature. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be like you and you're going to be like me. But there's that love and respect for each other. And so one of the things we need to check as a BK, that do I actually love myself enough? Because as I love myself and I respect myself, I can easily love and respect and understand each others. And this is what we saw in our dadis. Even when they would meet and they would get her, even if there was no sharing of words, but just their drishti for each other was with so much respect. And even when we were with dadis, or we were with our seniors, what we felt was that there was so much love and respect. And it's because they also give time to themselves. And again, I want to clarify, it's not that we have to, put in extra 2-3 hours of meditation. If we can do that, well and good. We did that in the year of Tapasya, the mullis that we're reading on Sundays, which is, I think, the ones that we just finished reading, was year of Tapasya. And I remember that as a family, as a BK family, we were all asked to at least do sit-down meditation for 4 hours. And some major programs we were not to be involved in. We could do little programs, but minimum 4 hours of sitting down meditation. And I think majority of Brahmin family made that happen, did that. So this was the year of Tapasya. But maybe we don't have so much time at the moment. Maybe there's a lot more other services we need to do. But the quality we can improve. Yeah, and we could just pinch in a 15 minutes here and 10 minutes here, and before you know it, you could have a good extra an hour or two than your usual. So that's self-importance. And then that love and respect for the family. And then love and respect, widening it to the Lokik family and to the world. And then the environment, yeah. Because, in golden age, it's not just that we'll be misusing nature and will only be kind to human beings, as in deities. Why does nature there want to serve us? Because we also have a lot of respect for nature. And sometimes we think, oh, okay, what difference does this going to make? See, the world is going to be destroyed or transformed anyway. So whether I waste water, or whether I'm not careful about electricity, or whether I'm not careful about how I look at the nature, what big difference is it going to make? But just like Baba is teaching us that as we have to remember and think about the soul, we also have to respect our bodies. Yeah? And also then the third thing will be nature. And within the nature is the nature itself, but also the animals, the birds, the insects, everything. I mean, when you see a worm or when you see a butterfly, when you see any of that, do you actually stop and thank them? Because if it wasn't for all of them, a lot of the things that we actually enjoying, we wouldn't be. And of course, if you want to find out more about it, you can look into the scientific side of it. So even if I don't know how to do all these things, but just in my heart, if I say I want to respect nature, I want to care for nature, you'll find the right people will tell you the right things, and you'll be touched by right things, you'll hear the right things, and you'll be able to do it. So yourself, the family, the nature at large. And within the family, I would like to add, it's about, the whole world at large. In recent Murlis where Baba said, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, where Baba said whether they Ravan's children or God's children, they're all God's children in a way. And do I have that vision for people in the world? Or if somebody is suffering at one end of the world, what does it bother me? It's not happening in my nation, it's not happening to me. I don't care. Is that our response? Say, for instance, if your Lokik brothers or sister was there, but things are not so right, or if your friend was there, if your colleague was there, would you not be concerned? So yes, on a daily basis, not just as and when we have bhattis that we think about that, or every third Sunday we'll think about world peace, but every day, a few times a day, part of our meditation should be towards nature, should be towards serving the world. Not just our immediate connections, but the world. Because there are so many places that we don't hear any news about. We don't even know what's happening and who is in need. And there are certain places we hear a lot, but we're not hearing the right things. Yeah? So they may paint a beautiful picture about their nation or that place, but that necessarily is not the reality. So yes, another thing is in our self-progress is how do I save myself from this influence of what we call social media. To use social media in terms of reaching out to people, etc., is good. But so much of bombardment happens And so much of wrong and misinformation comes our way. So we just have to be very, very careful about that. And based on those information, when we start making decisions, when we start making decisions as in learning, we start becoming biased. Say suppose we hear that this country attacked this country. We don't know why they did. Yeah, probably most people don't know why they did, but they may have a reason. But then I start thinking, oh no, they're so bad to have attacked this country. It's not for me to think those things, because this is where we're slowly moving away from our focus is moving away from self to others. And then we start getting into debate, and then maybe 5 years later we find out that the one that we were backing were actually the miserable, the naughty ones, and we should have been helping the others. In fact, probably there's nobody who is totally clean anyway. So first, to be biased, like whether it's games, for instance, sports. Yeah, you support the country that you're born in or you're living in. But to dislike the other, or to, take so much pleasure if the nation that you're supporting wins and the other doesn't, is that soul consciousness? Worth checking, isn't it? So take this few days that you have in Madhuban, and I know it's maybe a bit cold outside externally, but we are sitting in a very, very warm place in a way where so many of our seniors, besides Mama and Baba, have done so much tapasya, which has brought us all here together and on this spiritual journey. And how much we can thank them, really. Thank our own fortune too. But really, if it wasn't for the guidance of our seniors, and though they didn't have anybody to follow, but they were just very clear as to what God wanted them to do. So let's take some time to reflect. I'll share a few thoughts, and if you have a pen and paper, do jot down a few things. But if not, just mentally note a few things. So I sit back relaxed, the feet on the ground, or your feet, or you can sit cross-legged if you prefer. Relaxed but alert. Let me see the year 2022 has been like. Starting with myself. My connection with Baba. I take this next few minutes to note some of the highlights, some of the spiritual achievements that I was happy about, or even take a spiritual pride in getting there. So what was it? What do you think worked? Maybe it was something you were able to let go. Some of the areas you were able to step up. May have been detachment. Or the ability to speak and share when necessary. Now, let me note what I did in terms of the relationships with BK family or the world family. They're always so positive. Something that I may have been struggling for a long time, but was able to achieve this year. What was it? Was it that I didn't understand and love and respect them enough? But I was able to do that now. Or maybe the other way around. I was able to take a stand. Make others realize that I do belong. I am important. Whatever it may be, something totally different than what I shared. Please make a note. And then in the environment, areas are more aware and respectful. And it just generally any highlights of the year. Thank you. I hope that was a useful exercise to go through. Is there anybody you'd like to share anything that stood out for them? Do you want to? Sure, if there can be a mic made available. Yeah, because there's online viewers as well, so wait for the mic. If you stand up, then.
Thank you, sister, for this great idea of stock taking. One, you know, relates stock taking to businesses and all that. It's a great idea to apply it on yourself, spiritual stock taking. I was just wondering, you know, it's nice to do it towards the end of the year. However, 1 year is a very long period. So would you consider that, one should be doing it on a quarterly basis? Like I was trying to reflect on last 1 year, and it was a bit hard to,
True.
think of over that long period,
True.
what transpired and all that.
As I mentioned earlier, that the way I like to look at the Sakar Murlis as like the homework and the classwork. We listen to in the class, and then we have some homework to do in terms of the practice throughout the day. And the Sunday of Murli is kind of your stock take, isn't it? Where you are and where you need to be. And I was just seeing that over the year, there's hardly any month that we either don't have a festival or some of our seniors have passed away. Like, say, for the month of March, it's the memorial days of so many of our dadis and senior brothers. So January, anyway, is Baba's month. Then February, Shivratri. Then month of March, so many dadis. Some that we know well of, but there are others. There's actually, I think, a list of 8 or 10, maybe more, of our seniors having passed away in month of March. Then April, May, something, either there is Holi, there is the Valentine's Day, Shivratri, and then this Dadi Jagdish Bai's Day, Dadi Prakash Mani's Day, Didi's Day, Mama's Day. So I think every month we have something, so we can probably do it a weekly basis and a monthly basis, yes. Now, I would suggest that it happens more frequently than once a year, but once a year could be the bigger one. But if you've done all these, I don't know what currently the word is in terms of monthly tests and weekly tests, then all the marks add up for the annual exam. So this could be an annual stock take, but it could be done on a weekly and then monthly basis at least. And end of every day, this is what, Baba suggests, and many of our seniors would share that with us. The end of the day, give everything to Baba and don't remember what's happened in the previous day, especially the wrong things, and carry on your next day as a fresh chapter. I think one of the sisters had raised you. Did any of you wanted to share from the sister side? Okay. So yeah, I guess my Lokik background being from accounts side, and as again also looking after Baba's shop, and shop as a proper shop, this theme came to my mind just right away when Brother Rajesh asked me if you'd like to share. I said, yeah, we could talk about stock taking, because this is normally I would do physically as well around this time of the year. And so at least I'm not getting to do the physical side of it this year, so certainly the spiritual side. And yes, I know there's lots of homework that's been sent internationally, and Dadiji's class, Dadi Prakashmani's class. So from month of January, so let's have all our celebrations now, along with our spiritual effort. But yes, since beginning of January, let's make sure that that flame is lit so well that it stays lit properly and gets brighter and brighter throughout the year. So I'm sure your instrument souls will be sharing more information if they haven't already shared about the focus. But then again, our blessing to be in Madhuban at this time. along with the celebrations and being with the family, but really time to reflect. And I just think we are so spoiled. Any place of Babas you go to, whether here, Pandabhavan, Shantivan, Peace Park, there's so many places where you can take time, be in solitude and reflect. So the other aspect of stock taking is, which I don't want to dwell too much on, but we have to see what are the things that we can sharpen up. I would not want to start saying that that's lacking in us, but that's what I'm indicating. So something that we are deficient about, something that we need to make up quite quickly. And so we need to make a note of that as well. And then for the next year, what is it that you would like to make sure that you start off your year with that, and then it continues throughout the year? It's not like after come to 7th of January or after 18th of January it's all fizzled out. No. So I don't know if you want to dwell into another reflective exercise as to what is it that we're lacking, or maybe you want to take that to do that on your own with honesty, but along with that honesty, a lot of self-respect. Because what we don't want to do in a Brahmin life, which is what we've been taught in Bhakti and the path of devotion, is guilt and repentance. So what Baba teaches us, Baba's method is, yes, have the stock take, check where you are, check what you need to change, but with a lot of love for self. Because why I got us to do the exercise of what went right. So you've got this enough awareness that yes, I have the ability, I have the capacity to do lots of good things. And a few things that are not so good, I can change that easily with Baba's help. And in some of the recent murlis we heard the importance of confrontate. And the important, recently Baba talked to us the importance of Bharat. So all of us being here, either physically or mentally. How many of you visit Madhuban on a daily basis? One of the simplest thing I do is every traffic control, I fly to Pandabhavan, or wherever, whichever is your favorite place. Mine happens to be that. And so visit Madhuban a few times a day. Yeah. And Baba, in many, many murlis, says that wherever you are, that's just your office address. Your actual address is that you're all Madhuban Nivasis. Just that you're posted at those places to serve. So yes, when Baba praises Madhuban Nivasis, don't just think it's them, it's us too. Yeah, surely they're fortunate that they're here physically throughout the year, and we only come as and when we can. Hopefully every season, but some can't even make it that often. But through our mind, through our feelings, we can always be here. Because it's the place that Baba has chosen to come. And so that's why it's special. And this is why that even though so many of our dadis have gone, only one from the founding members is left now, Dadi Ratan Mohini. And so many of our senior brothers, literally I've been in Pandabhavan just a week. I came last Monday and I'm leaving tomorrow. And within this week, I saw 2 funerals, Bhopal Vais and Pratibha Ben's, just within this week. And so many of our senior brothers and sisters are being pulled to play a different role. So the advanced party is getting stronger, and there's a variety of experiences being added to that. So we really also need to speed up and step up. Just think about what happened. Just imagine, just visualize what could have happened when Brahma Baba left. What is it that our dadis did? They were like little Kumars and Kumaris. But how they all united, and though with all their differences, they had that love and respect. And whoever was allocated the different roles to play was respected and supported. So one of the things that we could be looking at is how much time and energy and my thoughts, my feelings are towards unifying the family. Because one of the major ways to reveal Baba would be through our unity. I don't know if you're aware, many of you may know, maybe some of you may haven't heard, one of the last messages, Bhog messages through Dadi Gulzar, the essence were three things. It was a short one, and this is when she was, I think, in Mumbai. She was not even here, as far as I know. One was Amrit Vela, second was unity, and thirdly, 6 months stock, physical stock. These were three main things that were mentioned in the message. And as far as I understand, this is one of the last messages through Dadi Gulzar. And so, in our stock taking, is our Amrit Vela powerful? And Dadi Janki would always also emphasize, as is the Amrit Vela, your evening meditation. I know Sister Jayanti also emphasizes on the traffic control. Dadis did too. But Jayanti would say every time, like we have every hour now, a minute every hour. Is that powerful, or is that I'm just waiting for the music to finish and get on my business? Am I just stopping physically, but also am I stopping here? And checking where my past hour, what was it like, what was I thinking? So, brother, we don't even have to wait for a week or so, we can do it every hour, the stock take, so that at least my next hour is more focused and more full of awareness. And then one of the things that always Baba has emphasized, which really heads off to people who do it, I did for many years, and this is something that for the new year, I keep a name. I've already started, but certainly from the new year, is that meditation before Murli class. And I've seen one of the greatest example is Brij Mohan Bhai. He would always emphasize that it's not just that when the Murli is about to start, we walk in, but our class actually starts half an hour before the Murli starts. And how many of us have that importance for that half an hour meditation? So, okay, to begin with, if I can't make it half an hour, at least aim for 15-20 minutes before class. And then you will see, once you're in that meditative stage, when you listen to Baba's Murli, you'll be able to grasp it and understand it so much better than if you haven't meditated. And I know that from my own experience. Yeah. You know, like we hear about Mama. Then one occasion, Mama was slightly late, and Baba had come into the hall, and she had not come. She actually sat outside. She didn't come in. She said, "How can I go in after the teacher has come?" So, for some reasons, if you taking a lift, or if you're traveling a long distance and for various reasons you can't make it, that's different. But see, even then, if you can adjust for 10-15 minutes to be there before Murli class, you'll see a difference. So if we collectively start from tomorrow, we do that. You'll see that, if you start something in Madhuban, you get into a system, in a rhythm, then when you go back home, it's easy to follow. Well, home here and home there too. So it's a lot of ways to do stock taking, but let's just spend a few more minutes just seeing the things that I need to sharpen, and also what I want to aim for starting from tomorrow. Let's not just wait from 1st of January, but let's start from tomorrow, or even now on. What I'd like us to do, I just want to underline once again, with all honesty, but with a lot of love and respect, no margin for guilt or repentance, just the awareness and understanding that this is not right. And something that Dadi Janki used to use the term in Hindi, when you did something that was not so correct, Dadi would say, "Ye shan nahi hai," and this is not your honor. So as God's children, what is honorable for me to do? Let's do that. And it's not because if I don't do it, God's going to punish me. But it's with this love and awareness that, wow, I have the fortune to know God personally and to be His child. Well, everybody is His child, but there isn't that recognition. That's why Baba so often in the Sakar Murli says there isn't that feeling of inheritance. Just recently, was it yesterday or day before yesterday? Maybe not yesterday, it was Avyakt Murli. But Baba talked about sannyasis cannot call anybody a child. But that feeling of child to a parent, to a student and teacher, and our fortune to see as Baba as a Satguru. It was something that Dadi Gulzar had said once to the youth when they questioned her that why our remembrance is not so powerful, or why is it that we have good remembrance sometimes but not always. And a very simple answer that Dadi had given is that this three main relationship of parent, of mother and father, teacher and Sadguru, we really need to deepen it. And I was checking for myself when I came to Madhuban this time, that yes, to see Baba as a parent is easy. To see Baba as a teacher is very easy, because one of my favorite subjects is Murlis, and it's something, it's like my hobby. But to see Baba as a Satguru, I still need to think, and I have been thinking in Madhuban a lot about it, but I still need to deepen that subject. So these three important relationships with Baba. So let's that make our base so powerful, of soul consciousness, of our connection with Baba, of this awareness of confluence age, awareness of how short the time is. Yeah. So when the time is short, we want to hurry up, isn't it? It's not with stress. It's not with that. In order to achieve that, I'm going to harm others. No, it's taking everybody along. Yeah. So let's fly. So sit back, relax. Let me take this time to see what's lacking or what I can sharpen up. In a financial term, I've looked at my assets, but let me check some of my liabilities. In terms of my relationship with myself, and this body, am I treating them with love, with kindness? Without being attached or being over health conscious. Let me check if I give enough quality time for my self-progress. So let me check with all honesty. Becoming aware of where I am and where I'd like to reach. Let me check my relationship with Baba. This awareness of conference stage. The time for the soul to enjoy the company of the Supreme. A crucial time where the things of the past, be it the nature, the sanskars, the ways and means of life, are pulling me at the same time. The godly systems and customs of the conference age and divine systems and customs of the golden age. It's a bit like a tug of war. So where is the pull? Let me check with all honesty, but with love. What is it that I need to sharpen and emphasize on? And now my relationships with others. Is there anyone that I lack good wishes for, or I dislike? I run away from them. Let me check and change. I'm aware that I don't need to purposely come into company of wrong people. But in my heart, let there be no dislike. And then nature. The elements, the animals, the birds. The crawly creatures. How can I purify them? Am I thanking them enough? To add my relationship with finances, possessions and properties. That means the worldly sense, insecurities. They're here for me to use, but they're not the basis of my identification. So let me free myself from any awareness that was based on the possessions, positions, my connection to various people. Because my greatest, probably the only identity that matters, that is, I'm a child of God. And as a child, I reflect everything that God stands for. Om Shanti. It's just when you do reflective meditation, it's quite difficult to come into sound, isn't it? So I hope this was useful. Just to underline a few things. No place for shame or blame. No guilt, but total honesty. Look at your strengths first, and then also see the things and the areas you could enhance upon with Baba's help. Being aware of the time being so short, and if I don't do it, who will? And if not now, when? But also something that I need to regularly check. And it's things that maybe if we can focus on for a week, 2 weeks, however long it takes, and then keep adding things to it. But the consistency and the perseverance needs to be there. Not that come March and everything is forgotten, becomes an old year and we become old in our effort. go back to being slack. No. Daily, if we are able to give chart, something Sister Jayanti has been encouraging in her classes is keeping a note of everything that you are thankful about on a daily basis. So every night, jotting down the things that you're grateful for. And if we see and look at that list of things that we can be grateful for, things that we have been provided with. Like often when Baba says, there was a time when lots of people came to Madhuban, and I think it was starting of Shantivan, and even at some point in Pandavavan it happened. And I remember one of the first years in Shantivan, the tents were built all around where you see Saraswati Bhavan and other places, training sections. There were tents, so there was not enough accommodation for people. And quite a few elderly people were positioned there in terms of sharing dormitories in tents. And they had to shower outside. It was not so warm either. And yet Baba telling souls who had to stay in tents, that's better than what you do on path of devotion. Right? So much Baba provides. I'm just saying that for every group, the meals accordingly are provided. Even when you see regular breakfast or lunch and things, there's variety of vegetables or variety, because people from different culture, people from different upbringing are serving here, not just we as visitors, but even those who live here. But it doesn't mean that we have to eat everything. We just take what we need. Yeah. So Baba is providing so much. There's so many things that we can be grateful about. The access to murlis, the access to information, the experiences, the classes, the facilities. The list is unending. So when we learn to look at the list of things that we're grateful for, more grateful things or more better things will happen to us. But if our focus is on this one doesn't behave nicely, or I don't have this money, or I don't have this, then you'll find more reasons to be stressful. So when Baba says, no, always have a positive awareness and positive attitude, we need to imply that on a daily basis. And then when you kind of long time passes and you look back and I think, wow, we've come a long way, isn't it? And people when we see our dadis and many brothers and sisters who left after the partition and in 1950s when the group came from Pakistan to here, those who left was because they could say, well, if it's God's task, if it's God's this, that, how come we're not getting enough food to eat, etc. But they forgot how many years of almonds and milk and whatnot was provided. They could just see the present. They were not grateful of what was provided for. But the dadis that we saw as dadis stood fast, were very grateful, even in little. All our dadis lived in such little areas. They used to make sabji out of potatoes, and they used to make chutney out of potato peels, and that to be small amount. That's what they survived on a daily basis for a long time. And even from that, we've heard Sister Jayanti share that in Pune, Dadi would have little food to eat. And sometimes the kids will come, children will come for children's class, and of that little food, she'll still share that food And she didn't have any other means to cook more food or even time to cook more food. But when she talks about all these service times, she talks as though they were surrounded by God knows what. But no, physically they weren't. But their hearts were full of gratitude, and see where that took them to. So, if I am lacking something, like I remember one time some of the seniors from one country said to Dadi, brothers and sisters cannot come because they don't have enough money. And Dadi said, never think that way. Because the more you think that way, the more opportunities and challenges will come. Not opportunities, challenges will come for you to unable to come. So shift that from, being in the place of need to actually being in the place where I can share and feeling that prosperity now and that fullness now. But see, Dadis were surrounded by things, but did they own anything? It was for everyone else. So it's when I am surrounded by things, am I possessive about that? Or am I thinking that's for service? It's something we need to check on. If there's any final comments, you can share. Or if not, we'll finish with another reflection. She wanted to share something, or we'll do some meditation first. Okay. Sit back relaxed but alert. This time let's do a stock take of everything that we can be grateful about. To begin with, let me thank my fortune and karma that has brought me to where I am and saved me from various paths of distraction and illusion, which is seemingly very attractive to begin with. But very soon one would have realized it's like churning water, trying to get butter out of it. You're going nowhere. You can only feel the ripples. And feel that a lot was happening. It's a bit like going in the circles and not getting anywhere. Just tiring yourself. Let me be thankful for my relationship with Baba. The vision Baba has for me. one of the recent murlis, the way Baba sees me as being the holiest and the highest. So let me have that vision for others too. Let me be thankful to all my seniors and the family for guiding me towards the right direction of the spiritual journey. And uplifting me when I'm down. Supporting me with my creative ideas and plans. Let me be thankful for all that I am provided for and with. Especially the wisdom Baba gives me. So that richness doesn't take a form of ego. But brings in a lot more simplicity and humility in my life. There is no question or fear of what will happen in future. Because there is the assurance and certainty and conviction that only best will happen. Provided that I'm able to look at the positive side of it. Baba va. Wow me. And wow the family, the world family. This attitude of gratitude will allow me to receive all the certificates of contentment from the Self, from Baba and the family. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Sister Daksha. It was very enlightening and empowering class, and very good reflections. Personally, I took that I have to shift from the place of need to sharing. We have a lot of treasures that Baba has really loaded us up with. So we really have to feel and know that we have it. And once we feel that, we will end up sharing. Thank you once again, Sister
My
Daksha.
pleasure.
Now, there is one announcement for the evening. So the buses for the Baba's Rock will leave at 3 o'clock. So make sure that you have warm clothes, sunglasses, and walking shoes. Also that